Hi, Bill here with 30-Minute Woodshop. Thanks for joining. Today, I want to show you how to make a pen and pencil holder that you can toss into your backpack or bag, take it to work or wherever you're working from these days. You know, a lot of us are still working from home, so anytime I have something on my desk, I need a little bit of organization, okay? And if you're going to go into the office, a lot of times we're using hotel cubes, so you got to bring all your own crap. So this is a really easy way to set up a little part of your office. Have a little pen and pencil holder that you can make. This is a great project for your kids to help out on. It doesn't take a lot. Now I have to say, this is based on 2x4 technology. What I have here is just a piece of 2x4, and actually it's only 2 inches wide, okay? So I've kind of cut that down to about 1.25 inches thick. You can use a full-size 2x4 and make it a little different. But we're going to have a couple things in here. We're going to be able to put pens in here. We're going to be able to put up maybe a 3x5 picture. I know pictures are kind of passé these days, but you know, it's one of those things you can drop in your drop 2 or 3 of those into your backpack or your bag. Set this up, throw some pens and pencils, and have a picture of the kids, the wife, whoever, right there. So let's get started. Let's go ahead and set up the saw. I'm using these brass setup blocks right here. So if you don't have a set of these, folks, I absolutely recommend you get one, especially if you're doing, it doesn't matter what you're doing, you really need a set. Makes setup way easier. I'm using a 5/16 inch block here. All right, that's going to give my depth. And I set this 3/16 of an inch. The fence is 3/16 of an inch here from the blade. And that should give me the perfect groove to set a picture into. Let's make some noise. And there we go. Just perfect. I picked out 3 drills based on the pens that I have. I've got a 3/8, a 7/16, and a 1/2 inch. So a couple problems, a couple things, is that these drills and this pine is probably going to give me a rough edge here, so I may have to do a little work and sanding and planing to get those off at the hole entry. But it'll still work. This is only 1.25 inches deep, so I'm using a 3/8 inch piece right here just to set the depth. So you can kind of see where that's going to end up being. And if you look at these pencils, there should be plenty of depth to capture the pencils. Now, to keep me from going too deep, I'm going to put some flags on. All I've done here is taken a piece of tape, cut it into 3 pieces. I'll just put a flag on here. That should keep me from drilling too deeply. Now the next thing I gotta do is mark some holes. Okay, so I'm using this really cool gauge that I got from a friend. And there we go. Now I need to make a couple of cross. And I'm gonna do these kind of at random, because honestly, it's not a big deal. And all I'm doing at this point is just eyeballing a series of these. There we go. Now I just got to decide which holes go where. And that's, again, for me, it's going to be random because I don't really care. All I want to be able to do is have those particular holes in here. So I'm going to start with the 3/8. We'll chuck that up and start drilling. Yes, that's a problem. With this drill, the 1/2 inch drill, it's really tearing up the wood here pretty badly. So I'm going to have to do some work on it. So the downside of using pine is that it's soft and it kind of tears out, so the openings of the larger holes, the 1/2 inch, didn't cut so well when they came in. So I'm going to have to do some planing. You can do this with just regular sandpaper and it'll work out really well. But I have a plane in hand, so I'm going to use a plane. And just take off the top and get those things smoothed out. I'm all planed down, got rid of all the tear out. I have a couple more things I want to do. Let me grab a piece of sandpaper here. So one thing I want to do is just go inside the holes and round the edges a little bit. So that's pretty straightforward. Just roll a piece of sandpaper. And just do that just to give the edges a nice little break. Doesn't take a lot. So I'm going to do that to all the holes. The other thing I want to do is, because this will be handled, I want to round these edges. A couple ways I can do that. I could use a router, all right, with an 1/8 inch roundover bit or a 3/16 roundover, and round those off. I could put some other type of edge treatment. I'm just going to take this plane, this block plane, and I'm just going to hit the edges and just knock them off. And then I'll come back with sandpaper and round those off a little better. So pretty straightforward. Just a couple of passes. All right, just a quick try, see how things are going. You can see how the picture fits in there. You can see how the pens and pencils fit. Super easy to do. I do want to do one thing. I was going to make a bigger hole here to put paper clips in, but honestly, I don't use paper clips anymore or anything else like that. So I think I'm just going to take it over to the saw, just cut this end off and shorten it up, and then I'm going to come back and do a spray lacquer on this. So let's go do a quick cut, and I'll come back and start painting. I'm using some Minwax clear aerosol lacquer, and I'll probably give this 2 or 3 coats, honestly. It will be handled off and on, so I smoothed everything up, but it's also one of those things that's going to see, pens get stuck in and out of it continuously. So we'll do some spraying here. Give that a few minutes to dry, and we'll put on a couple more coats. We'll be back when it's done. I really like doing these fun, fast projects. And this is a fun, small project. Very inexpensive to do. Great project to get your kids involved in if they're budding woodworkers, even if they're not. Great to make one of these, have them decorate it and give it to mom or dad. Absolutely phenomenal. So, if you want to make this, you can go to 30-Minute Woodshop. Let's start there. Go to 30minutewoodshop.com and you can find a dimension sketch. Okay, basically you get one of these, easy to do, easy to follow. Now, it's a little different than the one that I made. I made this specifically for me, so it works. You may probably want to adjust things like the hole diameters, the size, the width, those kinds of things. Feel free to do that. It's really easy. And using spray lacquer, I tell you, it makes it so much simpler. Wow. Takes about 15 minutes between coats, maybe less. Spray those on 3 or 4 times. You get a really nice looking piece. It feels real nice too. You do have to do a 320 grit sand between, by the way, just so you know. And it's just so nice and smooth. Put a little wax on it at the end and you're good to go. So, I hope you got something out of this, all right? If you did get something out of this, do me a favor. Hit like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate that. And hey folks, until next time, good making.